People who know anything at all about the paranormal know that it is normal. It is not unusual. It affects us so many ways in so many parts of our life constantly. Everyone's been affected, touched by it one way or another, and all of it has one source. It's just like our eyes are what brings all of our vision into us. Everything we see is through our eyes, everything we hear is through our ears. Everything that touches us in the paranormal world comes from the same source, and it's energy. It surrounds us all the time. Everything from God, if you feel like you've been touched by the Holy Spirit, to how the demons sneak in, to how a mother has woman's intuition and could just sense something happen to a child 2,000 miles away. All of it reaches us the same way. They say we have five physical senses. No, we do not. We have five physical senses that are products of organs and nerve senses that we can look at with science. The paranormal aspect touches us through energy that somehow reaches our brains in ways that we haven't figured out yet, but the Bible and science both prove that it's possible. They even prove how it works. It's never been put together. We're going to discuss all this because no two people share the same sixth sense experiences of coincidence, telepathy, intuition, talents and gifts, bonding, odd or paranormal events, and psychic abilities. All of us have had some experience with them, one way or another. Even the people that don't think so, they believe in their luck. They trust their hunches. What is a hunch? A hunch is something reaching you. Some people welcome it and they wish for more paranormal experiences because there are a lot of positive attributes to many types of paranormal manifestations. But it depends. If you have something bad, such as demons or hauntings, something that just bothers you constantly, you don't know where it's coming from, people want to shut it down. Some of that stuff is nothing to fool with. But understanding the source of our sixth sense and all that it entails is the first step toward controlling and expanding the experiences or shutting them down. Some of them need to be shut down. Some of them you can improve your life if you can expand upon them. We cannot influence what we do not comprehend, but one thing is very certain. The vast majority of the events of the unknown are beneficial, even entertaining, and nothing at all to be feared. We can do better. If you learn how obvious the source of our sixth sense is, you can begin to control it. You can get rid of the bad things. You can bring in more good things. You can benefit from this wonderful resource that is given to all of us. We should never fear or ignore something that is such an intrinsic part of the minds that define us and guide our lives. Once you know of our portal matrix, that is where the sixth sense is housed. It's the sixth sense energy of our psychic internet, and it touches us all. You will then understand how all paranormal events occur, and you'll never again wonder at the source of life's age-old mysteries, because these mysteries have affected every society since the beginning of time. You go out to an island in the middle of the ocean, they know about it. This is universal to mankind. It's ancient, it's timeless. It is there, it is real. Our portal matrix has touched everybody. Your life has been touched by the evidence. Think of these possibilities. Have you ever had a hunch? You know, that gut feeling that leads you to an action or a conclusion because you just somehow knew? Have you ever thought of a friend that you've not seen in ages and then just run into them and wonder why you thought about them? Or you've gotten a call from them soon after? Have you ever known something and then wondered how you knew it because you have no recollection of learning it? Have you ever wondered how people have visions of our past or future that can be proven true? This is well documented. Have you ever had a deeply religious experience where you felt touched by God, the Holy Spirit? Have you ever seen a haunting or just some very strange occurrence that defies all logical explanations? How come five people can be in a room, two of them will see a spirit or apparition, a vision, Both of them give the same exact definition. The other three people can't see it. What is the connection? It's from the portal matrix. Why do so many small children seem to have imaginary friends, people that they will talk to and interact with? Mothers have found rocking chairs, empty rocking chairs, rocking next to a kid that's playing and talking with a friend that they insist is always there. They will point at the friend, they will describe them. The child is the only one that can see it. I don't believe these are all imaginary. What about relationships with others? Have you ever met someone and felt like you've always known them, or you experienced love at first sight? Do you love the wrong people, or do you struggle to find the right one? That's part of the portal matrix that people want to learn how to control, and this can be done. Have you ever met someone and experienced an immediate dislike or definite repulsion? The minute you run across them, you get we call it a bad vibe. That is your sixth sense. That's the portal matrix. You are picking something up. Your energy is meeting with their energy and it's not mixing. You can't see it, you can't define it, but you know it's there. Why have people noticed so many highly intelligent pets seem to be connected with something, seem to be able to see things that we cannot see? How come so many dogs will automatically dislike someone? Then you find out later, as you get to know the person, there's something real evil and creepy about this person. I have seen that. We're going to discuss that in some of these stories. What about Oscar the cat? Oscar is well documented. This cat predicted the death of over 100 patients in a nursing home. He would hide. The cat would always be by himself. He would never intermix with the people at all. He didn't care about relationships with the people. But within hours, sometimes a day and a half, sometimes a few hours, he would pick out a person in the nursing home and he would go cuddle up next to them. And he would stay there until they died. He did this. It was well documented over 100 times. Multiple staff members recorded this over a period of many years. That cat knew these people were going to die. What was already in that room that that cat picked up on? How did that cat know? What reached that cat? Many people even claim to recall what they believe are past lives. Others have demonstrated that they can sense pain or loss of a distant relative the instant tragedy befalls them anywhere in the world. Battlefields. This happens a lot with wives and mothers who have a loved one in a battlefield. It's very common and well documented among twins and those that are bonded by love. What about those who claim to be on a run of bad luck or on a roll of good luck? What is happening when people feel as though they have a black cloud hanging over them? Maybe they do. You have experienced some or all of these strange events, or more. Everyone has knowledge of them or actual experience, but science has yet to pinpoint the source. We may never find the actual source because it's how energy interacts with our brain, but you can understand how it works without knowing the mechanics of it, the physical mechanics of how that energy is processed when it enters your mind. We may never be able to identify that, but we know the experiences are real, and this is how they work. It's through the portal matrix. These happenings are all well known as part of our daily lives, so we're aware there is something more to our world than what meets the eye. What is it? There is one single explanation that ties all of this together. Understanding it can open your mind to applying the source to improve the quality of your life. Energies within you are reacting to the psychic internet of our portal matrix. Once you comprehend the structure of our omnipresent world beyond our five physical senses, it all becomes quite obvious. You can use it to guide your relationships, your profession, and even to enhance your personal health and safety. If your life seems to be unfulfilled, the portal matrix may be where you can go to find what is missing. Yes, you can learn how to access it. You can learn how to enhance the skills. It's like any other skill. You can enhance it. If you ignore it, it's never going to get stronger. If you learn how it works, you can enhance it and use it. This is a dimension we all suspect is there, but cannot point to and say, there, that's it. This is more like the wind. Gravity. Everyone knows gravity is there. You can't see it. Static electricity. Radio wave. Energy that moves around us. We have all types of energy. Gamma rays, radio waves, TV waves, CB radio wave. We're all surrounded in a swirling mass of energy all the time. And some of that connects our minds to our minds. It connects our minds to the future, the past, to God. It opens doors. It's a hallway full of doors. It's an energy that moves around us and makes a difference, but it is known only by its effects. We're going to have to talk a lot more about this. I think right now it looks like there's going to be about 30 episodes devoted entirely to different subjects of this topic. We're going to talk about the hauntings and demons. I've got some stories for you that you will not believe. They're creepy. They're bad. That's why I say this stuff should be left alone. A lot of people like to experiment with it. You feel free to do so. That's on you because you cannot always control the results. But what about telepathy? What about remote vision? Not everybody that has psychic skills has the same ones. That is well known. There's a whole litany of possibilities here. But the thing is, all of us are energy. All of our souls, our minds are energy. When we die, energy cannot be destroyed. That's the one thing about energy. It can only be converted. Like heat energy can be converted. Momentum can be converted. Energies can be converted, but they can never be destroyed. So what happens to the life energy of your soul when you die? That energy is still there. We know about the afterlife and all that, but what about your physical realm here in the world that we live in? That energy is still contained in this physical world. Anyone ever stop and think about why when people have dreams, lucid dreams, or psychic episodes, when they run into, say, a spirit, you don't run into a spirit of a Mongolian warrior that you can't understand a word from, right? No, you don't. You run into people from the past. There are countless examples of people having an experience, seeing a vision, and then being able to find the historical documentation of it. Here's an example of it. When I was a kid, I was in probably my late teens. A friend's family had come from Minnesota. They'd go back there Memorial Day weekend and they'd put flowers on the parents' graves, the grandparents' graves. They'd go to the same small town and they'd visit their relatives there, leave the flowers, come back home. They were walking through the cemetery like they had done many times over the years with all of them. There were 3 kids there. The youngest kid was a 7-year-old boy. He wandered off by himself and he was standing by this grave, wouldn't leave the grave. And they went over to him, come on, we got to go. Little Gary didn't want to leave. He said, this was me. And he pointed at this headstone. And then he started telling him, yeah, I was in a motorcycle wreck. I died. And he gave him the whole story. My friend thought he was being funny. He told him, hey, Gary, come on. That guy's name's Michael. That can't be you. He said, they didn't call me Michael. They called me Pugs. Well, the last name was one they were familiar with. It was a small town. So they talked to some of the people from that family. And they asked him, hey, you know, we were at the cemetery and we saw Michael. Was he related to you? They said, yeah, he was. They said, did he have a nickname? They said, yeah, they called him Pugs. How did this 7-year-old kid know? The details of that wreck, they looked him up. The kid was right. Later on, the child had no memory of it. On the way home, he got irritated when they were asking him about it because he could not remember anything about it. But when he was standing there, something was able to connect with him. It was the energy of their psychic portals were able to match. There has to be a match. There is some kind of match code. But that thing connected with that kid, in a completely harmless way. It's almost like it wanted to speak from the grave, but it connected with that boy for a brief moment. Never happened again, but it was witnessed by the entire family. That event was real. If you've seen or heard of events like that before, if you have had an experience like that before, yeah, it was real. That's because their energy is still here, and for a brief moment, it matched your portal energy. There are portal gateways. There are portal gateways in all of us and in the energy that is our souls. These exist beyond us. They fade with time. Energy can be absorbed. But there is a magnetism of our minds, our souls that exists, and it's omnipresent. It is capable of living, working, being active beyond us. That's how a mother knows when her child is hurt without getting the phone call. That is one of the most basic versions of it. When something approaches you from, say, the evil side, when you see something and someone else can't, that's because it connected. It's like you have a psychic phone number, okay? It can reach your phone number. You can match their phone number, their psychic phone number from their portal matrix can match the psychic phone number of your portal matrix and nobody else in the room. There's a match system. There's an awful lot to discuss here. We're going to get into it because you will not be able to refute this. We will use science, we will use the Bible to prove to you that the Bible already told us this. All these analysts and preachers and everybody, they got it wrong because they've always started from the position that they already know how the world works and what we are. They think that we're all just independent, but that doesn't make any sense. If we were all independent, none of these other things would be possible. So we know that there's a connection. The Bible discusses it. The Bible even discusses how this is used to give some of us talents, to give us abilities, to be reached. It's all in the Bible. We're going to give you the verses. We're going to explain them. We're going to explain the science. So I hope you stick with us. I hope you subscribe. Like I say, right now, the plan is for about 30 different episodes we've got to find right now. So welcome along for the ride all the way through. If there's any kind of experience that you have, if there's any kind of psychic skill or ability you have, I'd love to know about it. I mean, we've got some incredible people in this country. There are people, mostly women for some reason, that have worked with police departments and solved murders because they could sit 1,500 miles away and see the victim and see the murder happen. Some of these were years old. They connected with the portal matrix of the person who is the victim. Sometimes they see it from the killer's point of view, but they have solved crimes. Police know this. This is well documented. There's a lot to discuss here. This is real. This is very real. Paranormal is normal. It's super normal. That's how it should be described. Not paranormal, it's super normal. Because it is real, it is in all of us, it is within the reach of all of us, and there's an awful lot that we can do with it. So please subscribe, send me your thoughts, your comments, your questions, and I'd love to hear your stories of any kind of examples at all. Any kind of examples, because there are so many avenues of the portal matrix. I first became interested in the paranormal when I was a kid because of some experiences I had when I was a very, very small child. Other things have happened throughout my life, but the things that happened when I was a kid, I have never forgotten. It's like it was yesterday. But other things have happened throughout my life, and in my family, we were encouraged to think beyond what we know. Both my parents encouraged that. It wasn't discussed at length, but we were encouraged to think and never shut anything out. All of my life, when I heard people talking about hauntings or some kind of ESP connection, I've always paid sharp attention. I was doing what they now call paranormal investigations. Before that term was developed, we never heard about paranormal investigations when I was a kid in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. We never heard those terms. But I was doing it. As I grew up, I did it. I have seen some things. I'm going to tell the stories about a lot of this because I've got other people to open up about it. And there's a lot of people that are reluctant to talk until they find out that you are warm to the idea. Once they find out that you don't think they're a kook, people will talk to you. I've got some stories for you that you will not believe. So really interesting stuff. But I've been looking into this all of my life. I've got over 40 years of looking into this stuff, doing personal investigations, getting stories from others. There's an awful lot to discuss because this is also very real. And when you hear about the portal matrix, when you finally put it all together, when you get all the details about how this works, I don't care what your life experience is. I don't care how deeply you've been into the paranormal. Once you hear this, it will change the way you look at paranormal events of all kinds, no matter what they are, the rest of your life. Once you hear this, once you understand how the portal matrix works, it will change the way you think about all paranormal experiences. The reason I'm breaking this down into bite-sized pieces is we've got to go into more explanation about the portal matrix and what it is, the structure of the portal matrix, and how it all works. We got to cover religion in the portal matrix, how to access our portal matrix, how it accesses us. ESP, it's no longer a mystery. Portal matrix time travel, people that believe they've been in the past or in the future. Reincarnation, how could that possibly happen? Ghosts, apparitions, visitations. Not everybody in the same room has the same experience. Why? Religion and science, they butt heads too much when they're both trying to prove the same thing. A lot of scientists are working on this. The rest of them want to pretend nothing is out there. But what about hauntings and demons? What about the existing portal applications? How about dowsing and divining? We talked about the cemetery, okay? You know, when a dowser, a skilled dowser, goes into a cemetery and they try to find graves that are unmarked, which that has happened many, many times. When they locate a grave, it is always the head end. Why is that? Something is still there. It's connecting with that portal matrix energy. Knowing what you find in the portal matrix, that is important. Portal markers, what are they? How do some people connect, or how are some people able to connect? Like the boy in the cemetery. How come he was the only one that connected with pugs? Portal markers. What about bonding? What is a bond? Why do soldiers who have been in high stress, terrifying conditions, in horrible battles, scenes of death, why do they develop a lifelong bond that cannot be broken? What is that bond? What about love and romance? What is the connection there? There is something more than just looking at each other and smiling. There is a connection. People that have actually experienced it, people who are looking for it, want to know more about it. But what about the daily use? How about surfing or psychic internet? The psychic internet is real. There's no question about that. What about surfing it? Can you surf it like the regular internet? And moving ahead, portal matrix research. We can all be a part of that. Once you know about it, you can start delving into it. There is so much to discuss here. We're going to cover it all. Appreciate you being here. Please like, please subscribe. This is a brand new channel. We got a long ways to go. We've got to be found by the mysterious psychic internet of this YouTube algorithm. But we've done it before, so we can do it again. Appreciate you being here. Like, subscribe. Come on back. This is going to be an interesting journey. Thanks for listening.